last subject, and that is short-term notes payable. Short-term notes payable. What is short-term notes payable? Well, this is going to sound, you're going to go, gosh, didn't we already go over this? Yeah, we really did at the end of chapter 9 when we talked about short-term notes receivables. A lot of this is the same concept, except we are now on the payable side of it. But it is a written promise to pay a specified amount on a definite future date within 1 year of the company's operating cycle, whichever is longer. I'd rather you just concentrate on within 1 year, okay? Now, what's the difference between an accounts payable and a notes payable? A notes payable is more formal. It's written down and usually there's interest involved, okay? Just like with accounts receivable and notes receivable. So for example, let's say that we are Matrix and we owe Carter, our vendor, we owe them $5,000 on accounts payable, but we are having money troubles, okay? So we ask them, we give them a call and say, hey, we know we owe you $5,000 on accounts payable. We're having some money, we're having a money crunch here. Can you give us an extension? So they'll probably be very happy that you did that you were honest with them. And they say, come on in and sign a 90-day 12% note to replace that. Okay? So we're Matrix. We take the accounts payable liability off our books. And we substitute the note payable to Carter. Are you with me? Okay? So now we have a note payable to Carter that's due in 90 days. Now when we pay that, we have to pay more than just the $5,000, don't we? We have to pay the interest. Remember how we calculate the amount of interest we have to pay? We take the principal amount times the annual interest rate times the time factor. It's a 90-day note. We usually divide it by 360 as opposed to 365 just because it's cleaner math. So we have to pay out total cash of $51.50. Are you with me? We take the notes payable off the books because we've satisfied it and we book the interest expense. You with me? Okay. This is what a promissory note looks like. Another instance of a promissory note payable would be if you take out a little loan, a little short-term loan, right? Okay. So here's an example of somebody, I think, taking out a $20,000 loan that's due in 90 days, okay, at an annual rate of 6%. Let's look at a quick example. On September 1st of 17, let's say we borrow $20,000 from the bank. The interest rate is 6% per year, and it's due in 90 days. Okay. Well, we debit cash, we credit notes payable for $20,000, and then when that note payable becomes due, once again we have to pay some interest amount, right? We take the principal amount times the interest rate times the time factor. Okay? Now lastly, this will just take a minute. Remember, if there is an end of the period financial statement date between when the note is created and when it matures and you have to pay it, then you have to do an AJE, don't you? Okay? For example, if we borrowed $8,000 on December 16th and it's a 12% 60-day note, then when we borrow the money, we make this entry right here, but we do financial statements on December 31st. So we have to make this AJE. How many days have gone by between December 16th and December 31st? 15 days. So to figure out how much interest we accrue, we take the principal amount times the interest rate times the time factor. Now we're not paying any interest on that date, are we guys? We're just booking the interest payable, okay? And then when you do pay the note off, what I usually do is figure out how much total cash I have to give them. In this case, the total amount of interest I would have to give them would be $8,000 times 12%. And it was a, how long of a note total?
45.
How long?
45 days.
45 days? in total? Well, I think it's a 60-day note, isn't it? Yeah, it's a 60-day note. So I'm figuring out the total amount of interest we have to pay. We haven't paid any, right? Because that AJE, we didn't pay any cash, okay? So we're going to take it times 60 over 360, okay? So we owe a total of $160 for interest. So when we pay them, we don't just give them cash of $8,000, we give them cash of $8,160. Are you with me? You see what I did there? Now we take the notes payable off the books because it's satisfied. How much of that 160 interest has not been expensed but needs to be? 120. Well, where does the other 40 debit come from? We now reduce that interest payable that we booked as an AJE on the previous entry.